See how far many people went off topic when I put this comment on a post about the present virus. The comment I put was, this is just one of 50 plus viruses circulating around the globe every year, practically all from animal use and farming by humans, which is the truth. And then I asked them, when will you learn? So the comments cascaded, and automatically people make wrong assumptions about the comment. First off, Matthew Adams says, you're saying we should kill all the animals to be safe? Where in the world does he get that idea from? The comment I just mentioned? It's hilarious, and it is deliberate deliberately argumentative. And I shouldn't reply, but I did in this case, and I says, just be sensible, just stop farming and using animals. Simple. Again, very simple reply, very truthful reply. And he comes back, so the same thing then, same thing as killing all animals is just absolutely idiotic. It specifically mentioned animals we use and farm animals, and he says, so same thing as killing all animals. We go, jeez. Oh yeah, it goes off. I mean, all that livestock, what have a use after farming will it? And we weren't going to release it to the wild. Not very good. Well, atrocious language for a start. You're not even explaining yourself in any proper way at all. Oh yeah, so there's other comments from others that come along as well. There's another one there says 50 plus viruses every year around the globe, practically all from animal use and farming. It says, interested to know your sources. Well, the sources are in numerous animal charities, the Compassion in World Farming, the World Health Organization. In fact, the World Health Organization keeps records of all viruses, and they are there somewhere, though they're not all easy to find. The obvious ones always are, because they are the biggest killers of humans throughout the world, and so they're there, and he doesn't even want to look it up. Yeah, another one comes up. Most of these zoonotic diseases will transfer from illegally shot and often endangered wildlife. Marmot, bats and monkeys shouldn't be on the table, but often the starving people of poorer countries are forced to do so in order to survive. For a start, the vast majority of viruses that have already passed from most wild animals, as has happened over the thousands of years that we've actually been farming. It's still down to farming, it's still down to our use of and killing of these animals. It's still all the same thing, and us continuing to kill animals will continue to produce new strains of viruses. Right, so he's saying that peoples are forced to. In most countries in the world, there is no longer a force to need to kill animals. most countries in the world. And even in those that believe they are forced to, a proper agricultural system would provide them with food without having to kill animals at all. So, yeah, there's some of us, there's so many that I can't go, I'm not going to go through them all, but because of this would be by far too long. But yes, but most wild animals. So why are they going on to wild animals? All I've mentioned is that the viruses come from our use and farming of animals. That's where the majority of viruses come from, and they're constantly going on about wild animals. That are the cross contaminants, and they are cross contaminants whether we have a controlled farming and environment, or whether people are killing animals for food in the wild. And even if they're killing animals in the wild for food, the major reason that they do it is because the eating of animals has become a culture of constant use, abuse, and killing. A culture so bad that they can't see beyond the fact that they do not need to kill animals. They cannot see beyond it. It's so clear. Yeah, so that even I've gone off on a tangent there because of that's gone away from the virus situation again. But it really doesn't matter because of my first comment, and I'll go back to it again and I'll repeat it because if you can see how far it's gone away from the actual comment for these actual things to come up. And I will say it, my comment is, this is just one of 50 plus viruses circulating around the globe every year, practically all from animals and farming by humans. And when will we learn? None of these comments sort of work out in the way of answering how to learn at all. Oh, yeah, we got a common one here, a common bright, unbright, says, what was that for? Let's see which one that was for. Yeah. Which one was that for? Here we go. Most of these zoonotic diseases will transfer. Oh no, that's that one. Let me neck. I thought I'd gone past that. Kill us. Let's see what others there are, because there could be interesting ones that will give you some idea of why people would sort to deviate from a comment that should be simple to learn, that the killing of and the keeping and killing of animals by humans is the cause of most of our illnesses on the virus side alone. This doesn't even come down to the actual bodily illnesses that consumption of these animals causes us. This is just purely the virus situation, and it's just beyond a joke. Oh, is he? Oh, this is one talking about animal welfare still kills all animals at a fraction of lifespan. How is welfare killing? Oh God, that's going off on the argument again. It's not on it. Let's see. God, it's just so ridiculous. They're so far away from the topic. There we go. Mankind was less populous, so this is going back in time again, taking it away from the present situation of viruses and how many are circulating. Mankind was less populous too many of us fit to feed, and encroachment on the natural world. The overpopulation is so now he's gone into overpopulation from what was less populous. Why is it, where the heck's this woman come from? Overpopulation, a disease waiting to happen, and intensive farming and overuse of disinfectants is to maintain health of animals in a natural setting. We need to eat more carefully, free range, and less meat from countries not chopping down vast forests to supply our habitat. Crumbs, that is massively messed up as a response. She is right to some parts of that. Well, no, not most of it actually, but little pieces of it. The intensive farming, overuse of disinfectants. Well, I don't think she means well. Disinfectants will come into it as well, but antibiotics more like, and other medicines that are routinely given to animals to keep them healthy until we want to kill them, when in actual fact all those animals, because they are so young, should be extremely healthy until the time of their deaths without the need for medical intervention. They should not be needing medical intervention for such young animals, because the animals are not more than the vast majority that are killed for our foods are not even a year old, and even the oldest that are killed for our food are only at the best a quarter of a quarter of their lifespan. So they should be extremely healthy, but of course they're not, because of the way that they've rebred the animals means that they're not natural. They're simply not natural animals, because of the way we treat them. That after those short spaces of time, those animals become extremely ill because of the treatment we give them, the way we treat them. Basically, certainly for the cows and the hens, they are bred and only kept alive until the point where their bodies are breaking down, and usually they'll end their life just before they're going to fully break down, so that they do not have to actually move them physically themselves. They can let them basically near enough still walk. Well, cows anyway. Chickens they'll just throw, I mean hens rather, they'll just throw out of their coops and everywhere. Right, so we need to eat more carefully, free range and far less meat. Free range is no less of a wrong than the factory farming. It is only marginally a welfare improvement. That is all it is. The treatment of the animals is basically very close to the same, even if they do have slightly better lives. They are still manipulated genetically and medically to maintain them until they are removed to be killed. Not chopping down vast forests to supply habits. This is an obvious one. The amount of land, and if you're going to go down to organic and free range, the amount of land you're going to talk about to produce animals is just vastly beyond anything that's sustainable for this planet. Vastly. And keeping animals to eat will not stop the deforestation that is taking place. It will carry on the longer that we keep eating animals. And there's, right, here goes another comment. You mean the farming of animals which we have done since the dawn of civilization some 11,000 years ago? Wow. The dawn of civilization 11,000 years ago? Wow. Yes. This is the incomprehensible part where somebody does not know of even human history or just the general world history. That is getting close to just a biblical assumption. 10,000 years, 200,000 years humans have been as what we recognize as humans. 200,000 years. 11,000 to 10,000 is the time that we started to farm the land and started to keep animals. Before that, we didn't. We may have done small amounts, very small amounts of farming before that, but the main time of actual big farming that started to get, that's where small farms just became bigger, was only 10,000 years ago. Yeah, yeah, the dawn of civilization. That's ridiculous. That's beyond. See that how far they take things from away from the actual facts. It's just beyond. And this is just on one comment. And the reason that they do a lot of this a lot of the time is really to excuse the present situation, to excuse actually being ill. They talk about it as though they care about our health, and everything they say is absolutely this total opposite. Everything that they do to sort of excuse their killing of innocent animals, their use and abuse of innocent animals, everything is it is what is actually causing our ill health. Anyway, I've spoken plenty here on this, and that was just from one comment, a single comment that I made on a newspaper news feed. And the best thing that anybody can do is to always put truthful comments about what is happening to animals, and best to try to leave them. It can be difficult. It is difficult at times, but it's just knowing that all you need to know is that every truthful comment you put, it will still make people think about it. If I just go back to this, the amount of people that have actually looked at this post that I put on this site is 36. 36 people have read it. Only about 4 or 5 people have made comments on it, and those comments that are on it are for the most part negative against what I've written. The rest will have read it. Some may have not agreed, but just don't want to get into any argument at all. Well, don't know, no, because if they've put a like to it, the ones that, but others that haven't put any like or not said anything will have read it as well. So this has reached 36 people that have actually liked it. So many of those will have more or less agreed with the actual comment to put a like, because if they don't do that normally without accepting what the actual thing is, even my further comment that I put when I put just be sensible, just stop farming and using animals, even that got 11 comments, so people were reading that as well. People that have not commented or whatever have read it as well. So it's got to many more people than it would do if I just put it on a vegan channel. Very many more. And although you might get a little bit of hassle with it, you are actually getting part of a truthful message out to people that don't normally see these messages, don't really know these things. And for many people that don't actually make comments or don't put a like or anything, lots of them will actually look up some of the information, try to investigate that actual comment and find out about it. And they will find out more. It is worth it. It is definitely worth trying to, well, I tend to try and do this sort of thing more or less close to once every day, where I'll put a comment, a single comment, truthful comment on a news feed that is not vegan, that has nothing to do with veganism, but is close to relevant to the topic that has bearing upon veganism. So it's by far more useful than just talking within the actual vegan groups. The talk within the vegan groups is useful to gather more information on what is happening and where everything is. But again, too many times in those groups we tend to be in too much of an argument. So every time we are better off taking an argument out into the news feeds elsewhere, where the general public, because of it's by far, if you have to argue with anybody, it's by far better to argue with people who are not vegan than to argue with people who are vegan. Please take note. I'll leave it at that because it's going on longer than you might want to watch anyway. So please do what you can